Today's episode is sponsored by Quid, an awesome app where you can open packs and collect cool stickers, cards, and Funko figures for free on your phone. They've got thousands of free stickers that you can use to text your friends from hot shows like Game of Thrones, Rick and Morty, Adventure Time, Star Trek, and all kinds of stuff. You can drag and drop the stickers right into your iMessages. They've got new stickers, cards, and figures coming out every single day, and Quid just rolled out a new feature where you can showcase your collection by adding stickers to images that you already have on your camera roll. And you can download Quid from the very first link in the description section or from the pinned comment in this video. It's really more of an iOS thing right now as the Android is still in beta, but I got to play around with it on my friend Paul's phone, and it's pretty damn cool, especially if you're someone who really loves the feeling of collecting. It's like they put the experience of just being a collector and packaged it into an app. So if you're a person who just has that sort of drive in you, like you want to collect things, that's the psychological itch you need to scratch, this app is definitely worth a try. And with all that being said, let's begin the video. And I'd like to begin this video with a fucking trick, a never attempted before by me trick. I've balanced the cigarette on the lighter. I'm going to attempt to light the cigarette without displacing it. Oh, I already failed. Attempt number 2. Let's see. Try to light it. Go get a toothpick. We'll just stick the toothpick in there. No one will ever know. We could cut it up with fancy editing. Oh shit, the fan phone is ringing. Hello?
Yo, TJ, you suck. Kill yourself, bitch. You suck.
All right, fuck you. The fan phone segment has been discontinued as of now. That was the first, last, and only time you'll ever see it. Fuck you, fan phone. Go to hell and burn. So there's only one story on Triggered today, because I found something interesting enough to go into in depth. Helen Rosner, best known for, has some tips for us on how men can be better. Well, you know me, I'm all about self-improvement, so let's hear her suggestions. And I want to make it clear from the offset that I'm not here to just shit on her list. I'd like to critically examine it and highlight my agreements and disagreements with her prescribed approach. Overcome your transphobia. Trans women are women. Trans men are men. Accept the lived truth of NB and GNC people, whether or not they are women. All right, so Zen-like focus coming into focus. Yes, okay, yes, I see it now. I see it now. I fucking love non-binary people. I don't even know what a GNC person is, but I love them too. And trans people, I like them better than fucking ordinary people now. Not to say that trans people aren't ordinary, which is not to say that trans people aren't extraordinary. You know, I'm saying they're the same, but they're different. They're different in that they're special. Why are you trying to change language into a fucking minefield? Why? Why are you doing this? What did the English language ever fucking do to you? I actually think now, though, that trans people, they're superior to all other people. People whose genitals match your gender, I actually respect you less now. Okay. Serious answer. I believe in respect for all people, including trans people. And let me give you a definition of respect. My definition of respect is the absence of malice, the willingness to hear someone's perspective, and the willingness to treat someone with basic dignity. Like, I don't cut you in line. I don't just slam the door in your face. I won't treat anyone out there in the world any lesser than anyone else as if I'm better somehow. Like I deserve that front spot in line because I'm TJ fucking Kirk. I won't do that because that's just fucking basic social etiquette. I don't want some motherfucker doing that to me. I don't want to deal with that. So out of basic respect, I don't do that. What respect does not mean is giving everything you say and do my rubber stamp of approval. Hey, oh, you need me to approve of your lifestyle? Good, I approve, I approve, I approve, I approve. Why do you even want me to do that? Why do you want me to have that kind of power? You know, like a trans person isn't pleased with their genitals, right? Not usually, anyway. Well, I'm not pleased with mine either. I don't go around asking you to validate my small dick and tell me it's all right. That's my girlfriend's job. Bottom line, trans people are welcome around me. I'd never do anything to make them feel uncomfortable in my presence any more than I do to make everyone else feel uncomfortable, you know? Be pro-choice and be vocal in support of reproductive rights, and generous. Give to the National Network of Abortion Funds. Understand that the opposite of reproductive choice is forced childbearing. Well, I've always been pro-choice, so that's an easy one for me. I'm already there. I'm already with you. Will I be giving to the National Network of Abortion Funds? Probably not, because I've already given a good bit of money to Planned Parenthood and to the International Women's Health Coalition, which, among other things, helps girls in third world countries have access to abortions. May I also, though, ask for your support in giving men the same right to opt out of responsibility for an unwanted child. Currently, if an unwanted baby comes into this world, the mother has several ways to cut her ties and evade the obligations to the child, and men have none. How it would work is this. If a woman gets pregnant and the father doesn't want the responsibility for whatever reason, he can waive all rights to the child as well as all obligations. And I think that's completely fair. Would you support some form of that? That's my question to you. Support subsidized birth control. Support women's health care. Support women's preventative health care. Support medical trials that include or even prioritize women. I support access to good health care for everyone, regardless of their sex. And as for subsidizing birth control, that's not really a women's issue for me. That's more of a less people please issue for me. Support non-taxed menstrual products. Ask your workplace if tampons and pads are free. If they're not, advocate for them to be free. Get over any embarrassment you may have about menstruation. Okay, well, if my ass is shitty, I have to pay for toilet paper. If my nose is runny, I have to pay for tissues. If I'm bleeding, I have to pay for bandages. So if you're menstruating, you can pay for tampons. I don't say that as someone who's, I'm embarrassed about menstruation. I say that as someone who thinks it's ridiculous that you should just not have to pay for something you need like it's fucking special. Vocally advocate at your workplace for longer and more egalitarian paid parental leave, whether or not parenthood is part of your life. Advocate for lactation spaces. Advocate for on-site or subsidized childcare. Scotty, I just want to let you know, if you want to lactate, the lactation corner is over there. I don't employ any women, but if I ever do, they can have time off to have a baby. Fair enough. I agree. Tell your elected officials that you are a man who votes and you prioritize women's issues when you decide who to vote for. Then actually prioritize women's issues when you decide who to vote for. Understand that women's issues are your issues. That would be dishonest because, first of all, I am a man, but I don't really vote. My major issues are freedom of speech, peace at home and abroad, the eradication of poverty, reversing climate change, and reform of the criminal justice system. Most of those I rarely touch upon on this channel because they're not fun or entertaining concepts, and I want people watching this to have fun. Women's issues are important, as are men's issues, but neither of those things is anywhere near my top priority, and I'm not going to say that it is just to placate you. Whenever you're in a group composed of only men, whether it's social work, church, or whatever, ask yourself why there are no women present, then ask out loud why. Force an honest answer. No need for me to do that. I already know the answer. It's for the same reason you enjoy being with a group made up of only women. The same reason a bunch of people with any one trait in common get together. So they can talk about things that only people who also have that trait would understand. Cultivate genuine, intimate, non-sexual friendships with women. Okay, well, let's read part of your introduction to this list. A friend of mine, who is a man, reached out to me privately earlier today to say how paralyzed he felt seeing the flood of Me Too posts on his Facebook wall, a phrase women are posting to indicate that they have been victims of sexual harassment and assault. This is a good dude, as far as I know. Here we are now, having to say as far as I know about our good dude friends, because the truth is that probably plenty of guys are good dude friends unless you're one of the 2 or 15 women they crossed a line with, whether or not they realize they crossed a line. I haven't been personally assaulted by this guy, I guess is the only thing I can really say. This is terrible for him and is also terrible for me. Everything is terrible. Those are your words. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you want to be friends with someone who treated you as if you're already a bad person and they're just waiting for the evidence to confirm it? I think that in order to have genuine, intimate friendships, there has to be enough mutual respect for you to not look at the other person and say, oh, I'm worried this person might rape or molest me at some point. Seek out women to be your heroes and mentors. I have 2 heroes, George Carlin and Marilyn Manson. Do I get half points for one of them having a woman's name? I don't really see any reason to impose gender quotas on my heroes, and I certainly have no need for mentors in my life of any sex. Anytime you see a building, street, institution, etc. named for a man, see how long it takes you to spot one named after a woman. Anytime you see one named for a woman, check to see if it's on something oriented specifically towards women, children, or families. Odds are good it will be. Okay, how does this accomplish anything exactly? I'm not opposed to it necessarily, but I'd like to know the reason why I should and of what possible help it could be. I don't see how anyone is helped or harmed, for that matter, by the names of buildings. I mean, I'll rename my house Susan B. Anthony if that fucking helps. Ask yourself what things you don't do for whatever reason that you could also think of as something women tend to do. Sew, send birthday cards, care about skincare. Try doing it for a while just to see what it's like to be a person who does the thing. Okay, well, the problem is I can't think of any such activity. Men sew, men send birthday cards, men care about their skin, just as there are women out there who don't do any of those things. The only activities that are uniquely female are things like menstruation, and I can't exactly do that. The closest I can get is I could drink a fucking cheap bottle of whiskey and hope I piss some blood. That's about as close as I could fucking get. Talk less. In all spaces. At all times. At lower volume. All right. How about a compromise on this one? Here's how we'll compromise. I will talk wherever I want, however I want, whenever I want, as loud as I want, but women are allowed to do the same. Does that seem fair to you? I think that seems fair to me. We're moving on to the next one. When you need support, reach out to men as well as women. Work to be a person all your friends of all genders can reach out to when they need support. Create a culture of openness around yourself. No thanks. I'd rather be a standoffish asshole and enjoy the peace and quiet that lifestyle entails. But, nice consideration. Consume media marketed towards women. Don't perform your consumption. I don't know what don't perform your consumption means, but let's see. Chick flicks, right? I liked Fried Green Tomatoes. I thought Steel Magnolias wasn't bad. But for the most part, I'd really rather watch Arnold Schwarzenegger mowing people down with machine guns in the 80s and 90s. Deprogram your beliefs about thinness being an optimal state of feminine beauty. Deprogram your beliefs that your desires matter in determining a woman's worth. People can have whatever standards they want to of beauty or attractiveness. Why are you trying to push for this homogenization of humanity? Celebrating our uniqueness means accepting that different people see the world in different ways. As for my belief that women derive their worth from my assessment of their physical attractiveness, I have no such belief. I view all human beings as essentially worthless, except for me and my audience and the people that I like. But even that value perception of them is totally subjective. I don't think that there's any idea of worth that has objective value out there. Jerk off without porn for a while. Edit. This really should be pay for your porn. In particular, seek out and pay for porn that's made by women, queer people, and people of color, and that's produced ethically. Consume sexual culture as thoughtfully as you would consume any culture. Thanks to Jillian and others for helping me reframe this. People's masturbation habits are none of your fucking business. As long as they're not jerking off to child porn or to old Polaroids of the people they murdered back in the 70s, it's not anyone's business but their own. Learn about racism and intersectionality, and do everything you can to empower and amplify black women and NBWOC. The fuck is NBWOC? I think it means non-binary women of color. Yeah, so let's all wring our hands in concern for that gigantic demographic of people. I mean, come on. Anyway, it's not my job to empower or amplify anyone. Once again, why are you putting this on me to do? People need to do that for themselves. No one amplified me because I was white and male. They did it because I'm such a charming and lovable motherfucker. Detach yourself from straw man definitions for hot button issues, intersectionality, cultural appropriation, political correctness, preferred pronouns, etc., and learn what they're really about. Unpack the real meaning behind phrases like SJW and feminazi. Believe people when they say they're in pain. Hell, I created many of the straw man definitions. Intersectionality, for example, is a totally untenable idea that's already beginning to cannibalize itself. It ultimately pits people into an oppression contest where whoever has the most oppression points is given the most deference. It's a system that attempts to use artificial privilege as a solution to artificial oppression, and it's doomed to fail. The scales will never be evened out that way. Cultural appropriation is nonsense. Culture in general is nonsense. I advocate being an individual and not defining yourself by culture. And I certainly am against the idea that certain things belong exclusively to one group or another. We all live in a capitalist culture, and therefore whatever I buy is mine, be it a headdress or dreadlocks or a gi or whatever. And I could tear apart all your stupid terms, but that's just an example. I don't want this to take all fucking day. Prioritize kindness. No. No, thank you. I don't want to prioritize kindness. I would much rather prioritize honesty. I think it makes more sense for people to put their real thoughts and feelings out there so that we can have a genuine discussion of actual positions and not just a fucking let's be Mr. Nice Guy fucking contest. So no thanks. It's not my fucking style. If you want to do it, have fun. I appreciate your dedication to principles, but those are not my principles, and I'm not going to change them for you, and I'm not going to be made to feel like I'm hurting women if I don't. Asshole. Befriend children. Yeah, because our society looks so favorably on grown men who cultivate friendships with children. That's not at all looked upon with paranoia and suspicion. I read a story a few weeks back of a guy who was trying to help a lost little girl find her parents, and he was attacked by the girl's father because it was just automatically assumed that the guy who was trying to help was a sexual predator trying to abduct this dude's daughter. Also, how does this have anything to do with being a better ally to women? It doesn't. What the fuck? What is it even fucking? It's not pertinent. I would say a good chunk of your list really wasn't all that pertinent to the issue at hand. Anyway, I reviewed your list, Helen. Some I agree with, some I disagree with, some I definitely have questions on. Ultimately, I think you're misguided. I think you place far too much importance on the judgments of men and far too little importance having respect for men in the same way you demand respect from men. Personally, I think all people should have mutual respect for all other people, regardless of their personal feelings. And that was triggered for today. Tomorrow will be something a little bit more typical for the format, but today I really wanted to respond to this list thoroughly. And I hope you still enjoyed yourselves. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to share it around and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. I'm TJ Kirk. Peace the fuck out.
And remember, today's video was brought to you by Quid, a great app for collectors and all fans of pop culture. Collect stickers, cards, and more from your favorite shows. Supporting my sponsors helps to support this channel. Link is the first in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you.